Welcome everyone to this episode of the Palmetto Guardian. I'm Sergeant Chelsea Baker, and today we have some lovely guests with us. So we're going to go around the table, and I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself, and then we're just going to go right into the podcast. So Sergeant Cox, we'll start with you.
Staff Sgt. Cox, Marksmanship Training Unit.
Sergeant First Class Lawrence, Marksmanship Training Unit, NCOIC.
Staff Sgt. Pritchett, Marksmanship Training Unit, and Mode Readiness Team, G3.
Awesome. Sergeant Pritchett wasn't ready over there, but we'll forgive him. So the last couple years, well, really with time, there's a lot of stuff that's changing. This year's been crazy with all the stuff that's been going on, and a lot of things that have been going on is the new PT test that everybody's talking about, but also there is a new qualification that is already implemented or in the works, correct? And a lot of people still don't really know about it or what it is. So that's basically what they are here today, is to kind of talk about that new qualification and to kind of get the information out to people who haven't heard that we're going to this new qualification.
And when you say qualification, you're specifically talking about rifle qualification, but the new integrated weapons training system has pistol, rifle, sniper weapons, and 249 automatic rifle. So there's a whole lot going on, a whole bunch, and a bunch of different weapons.
But
so.
today, just about the rifle.
Yes.
Yes.
Because, I mean, traditionally across the Guard, that's what everybody shoots is the rifle. And specialty MOSs or officers and stuff may shoot other things. So we're going to touch base on the rifle and then kind of go from there with later podcasts and videos. So who wants to start talking about all the fun new stuff that is involved with this new qualification?
Everybody's looking at me. I was going to volunteer Sergeant Pritchett, but he doesn't look like he wants to be volunteered.
It's very different.
Yeah, the quick and the bottom line up front is this: the new qualification, as compared to the old qualification. Old qualification, go to the zero range, you zero, jump on the bus right up the hill, qual if you can, good on you if you do, and tough luck if you don't, or keep trying, something like that.
Continue to try.
Continue to try until darkness or lack of ammo. Big Army. Decided that across the board, regular and reserve components are going to place a greater emphasis on it. And so they devised a set of tables. Army units have been doing this. The tanks, the Bradleys, they do sets of tables for qualification. Basically, they brought the system down to the individual weapons. So you got a table 1, which is basically, here's the rifle, the go switch, the off switch, the dangerous end, the put against your shoulder in, the very basics. Table 2, EST, you've been there, you've done that before. Same thing, pretty much. Table 3 is drills, so there's certain things you're going to do with the rifle. Fight up, fight down, different positions.
So not just penny drills that you do in basic training.
No. You're going to be doing, and when they say drills, so all the shooting, all the live fire, not the group ending in zero, but the practice and qualification are done with a barricade. That's a big change now, and it's caused a lot of work on behalf of people who do the ranges. But anyway, there's drills to teach you how to move efficiently about the barricade. Table 4 is grouping and zeroing. That's a big deal. It takes up most of the biggest section of it because it's changed drastically a lot. Table 5 is the only optional table. Table 5 is just practice, but it is the exact same as the qualification, which is the last table, table 6, except the targets come up faster and they stay up less time. They go down quicker. And you have an induced malfunction. If you can do table 5, you're going to be great on table 6.
Table 6 is the qual.
Table 6 is the qual. And there you have it. We're done. All right.
No,
we're
not done. We're not done.
Okay,
I have more questions.
Oh, wait.
You're not going anywhere.
Dang. Okay.
So, how long has this been implemented? Like, is this something that the Guard is already doing? Like, units are already going out and they're like, this is how they're qualling, or is it still a transitional phase where they're still qualling with the old qual? No, Sergeant Lawrence is shaking his head at me.
Well, he's right and he's wrong. So I'm going to point out how he's wrong because he's the boss. But he's right. It's a reserve component is still in transition from the NGB. Just sent out an email last week. I don't know if you had a chance to get it since you were teaching the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They just sent out an email that said reserve component. Guard units are in transition. And our understanding is because ranges have to be physically modified, they have to drill holes, they have to build barricades, put barricades in, all the infrastructure stuff. So, during the winter, maybe in some of the northern places, they just can't do that stuff yet.
Yeah.
But here, Range 14, they're in.
And,
we're up. We're ready.
And because of those things being built and the decisions that we've made as a state,
Yes,
that information will be coming out here shortly that you will no longer have the option to shoot the old qual. It will be new qual or nothing.
So there's going to be state guidance.
There is state guidance coming. The decision was made today.
Yep.
Okay. So are they already implementing this in basic training then, so that the new soldiers that are coming to the units, they've already done this
I
qualification?
think Sergeant Lawrence has spoken with some of the drill instructors.
Yeah, so I was at Fort Jackson last week or the week
Week
before,
before.
and seen a bunch of soldiers graduating,
Mm-hmm.
and I just started pinging them. I picked out the guys with the expert badges just to see, did he get an expert badge in the new qual or is it the old qual? Consensus was mostly old qual, so they take a platoon, so it's 4 platoons in a company.
Mm-hmm.
They take a platoon and they shoot the new qual. But the other 3 platoons are still shooting the old qual, but they're also shooting it with optics.
Okay, really?
Yeah, so there's no iron sight qual anymore. It's all CCO.
Hmm.
So, and I talked to drill sergeants, and they said that just 1 platoon out of the company is shooting the new qual.
Did they give you their feel of it? How they're doing?
They seem. He said that he thinks that it's not as bad as people think.
Mm-hmm.
That they're doing just as good, but they're also shooting with optics.
Mm-hmm.
So optics is not going to be as hard, but some units aren't going to issue optics to every Joe.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Joint Force Headquarters is a prime example because they don't have them.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get M4s, they're just going to be shooting backup sights, for a qual. Probably these trans units, they probably don't have optics. Different units. Usually the people that get the optics are higher enlisted or officers.
Okay.
So, but they seem to think that it's not going to be as bad as we think, but we've had pretty good success. We're probably going to get into that too, but probably not too much. But the IWTS course that we teach. So, it's been pretty good as far as teaching people the new qual, the new standards, the new target, using the offset tool and that kind of stuff.
So for the 3 of you, because you're all on the marksmanship team, you shoot a lot. Like, you go out and you train people on shooting, and you run the ranges for different events and stuff like that. How do you see this working for the Guard? Because it's not like you were saying, you'd show up drill weekend, you go to the 0 range, and then you go to the qual range. Like, this is something that's going to take up a lot more time.
Exactly.
And so how do you guys see that working with how the Guard structure is?
We have been, so the new manual.
Yes, I've heard and seen the manual.
Yeah, you've seen it, right? Yeah. So you print. I was the guy that printed 3. That was me. Sorry. So what we've done is we've gone through and condensed it down. We've got for lack of a better phrase, a sergeant's smart book,
Mm-hmm.
and we've also made some go-alongs. And the 3 of us sat down about a year ago, and we laid out a 60, 90, 120, and 150 day plan. So if you've got 150 days before your qual date, you can do these tables, and you will have extra time to do things that you have to do.
Like drive trucks, PMCS
Drive trucks,
vehicles.
yeah, NCOERs, all these things still have to be done.
Yeah.
So it kind of builds in time. You get down to 120, gets a little compressed, you're a little more under the gun. You get down to 90 days, you can do it. We'll wish you the best of luck. Mm-hmm. So the point being, and what was the meeting that we were in Spartanburg that had all the
Like
the
leaders call?
Your leaders call
Oh,
it
the leader-
RSW.
Yeah. So we had all the basically most, if not all, of the training sergeants, the higher NCO training sergeants, And we briefed them on this is what's coming. This is the big train. This is the sound you hear coming down the tracks. And that information was disseminated. And Sergeant Lawrence has put a good deal of it on the skip page as well that can be accessed. Just explaining, if you work with your commanders, training officers are going to have to work with the commanders. They're going to, because like you said, it's time intensive. You got to put the time in, or you're going to jam yourself. You're going to jam the CO, and you're going to jam the soldiers. So there's a lot to it. There really is.
Well, not only that, but if you think about it, how many drills do you go to and everybody's not there? Like, how is that going to affect the units with not being 100% and Joe Schmo is over here because he got pulled out to do this, or someone is split training and cover an event for something else? Like, how is that going to work with these tables and having to be able to do each step up to the qual?
So the 150 day and the 120 day, it has makeup.
Okay.
So I know how the guard works. I've been in 23 years. So I've been in line units when they got me driving 20 trucks because I'm the only guy that's not asleep. No, I'm just joking. But, so we have makeup times in there. So the Army put out timelines that says devote a day here, half a day here, a day here, a half a day here. Those are just suggestions or a way.
Kind of rules of thumb. You're probably going to need about a half a day. It's not you have to do 3 hours and 59 minutes isn't enough. It's probably need a half day to do this.
It's not the way. So they incorporate the 150 day. So you take half of the unit, you train them on table 1, while the other half does PMCS and all this stuff. After lunchtime, you flip them. They'll do the training, and then the other half will do PMCS and inventory, whatever they need to do. If somebody's not there, then you got the makeup days built in there. So if it's only 2 or 3 dudes, you know it's not going to take half a day. It may take an hour. So you got to have that person that's been to IWTS or somebody that you know is proficient at marksmanship or at least proficient at reading a manual and interpreting it. That's the guy you want kind of set to the side as your trainer, and he's going to be the guy. It's not going to be just one guy. It's probably going to be 4 or 5 guys. But he's going to be the guy that's going to be training these guys on makeups and the primary training.
And he kind of make a point as far as what the actual doctrinal guidance is on how much time you're supposed to invest in each one of these tasks. It's just for instance, the actual qual, they have it broke down into like 5 or 6 different 8-hour blocks of instructions. So you do the math there, and you no longer can conduct a nuts to bolts, beginning to end qual in 2 days. It's not possible. Now, again, it is a way. It is the kind of the go by that can be condensed down, and that's what we're trying to develop right now on what it looks like for a National Guard unit to conduct this thing and still be able to do it super efficiently, very quickly, because limited time, limited range availability. Perfect world, you would have 3 ranges because you would have grouping and zeroing on one range, confirm at distance on another range, and then qual on another range. Because what's going to end up happening, especially for the confirm at distance and the qualling, you're going to have a whole unit waiting on your not so great shooters to confirm at distance because you're using the same range to confirm at distance as you are to qual on. So you're going to have a whole unit waiting on 10 Bubbas to complete that. So we're working on trying to figure out what the best way is to
reduce that bottleneck one way or the other.
Reduce that bottleneck one way or the other, exactly. I.e. either opening up a 3rd range, which is going to create even more dudes running the range. Which is
Sergeant Lawrence does not want that.
No, and that's just because you got to have at minimum probably 5 or 6 dudes to run that range.
Yeah.
So those are more guys that aren't they're gonna have to go back through the qual at another later date, to caveat off your point. But I think what we're trying to do, and I can't believe we are the only ones that are thinking about this. Surely not, but is we're going to try to run a much more condensed. Once the mass majority of the unit has moved through confirming at distance, you're going to kind of shut the range down and open it back up, i.e. just kind of shutting a program down and opening a new program up. And the new program will have lane 1 and 2 doing confirm at distance, and lane 3 through 15 or whatever it goes out to doing the actual qual. So you don't ever slow down. It's constantly chipping away at what you got standing out there and keeping people busy. But that's going to take the range staff to actually rewrite the program to run the range. So,
Sounds like a lot.
Which has been done.
Yes.
it has been done.
It's already been done.
Successfully?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then maybe it's something that will work out. Sergeant Cox.
Who did that? And the reason I asked you that because we went and saw.
I thought Goza said it was done. The confirm at distance.
Okay. Just that, not the split programs.
Oh, no.
He's talking about splitting a different computer program that'll have 1 and 2 running
has
a
not been
different
done.
program. That
Okay,
has not
gotcha.
been done.
If you run them as two separate entities, it's done. But
Yes.
as far as programming two lanes,
Yeah,
to
the
do
whole
something,
range will either be confirming at distance
Or
the
qual.
qual or the practice, right?
not splitting it.
Gotcha.
Which is what we would.
It wouldn't be
in
a
best
split.
case.
It would be a two or three, like he said, 2 or 3
Yeah.
targets.
Sort of
lanes.
split.
Just kind of gaming it out. I feel like that's the only way.
It's the only way I can think of
You
it
can
right
keep-
now.
You can keep a National Guard out there for 2 days, National Guard unit out there for
Yeah.
2 days, and then be able to finish. 'Cause as of right now, with the limits of what they got going on, I don't see it being done.
There's
We got
going to
some-
be
we got
people
some
that
challenges.
there's
There's
going to
always challenges in the
This
military.
is an awesome.
be there's going to be people that can't confirm at distance. So those people have to go to the back of the line for retraining anyway. So they can't go to the qual until they confirm at distance. If they can't confirm at distance, they don't get the qual.
80%, 5 rounds, 4 rounds on target,
Right.
1 miss
Okay.
to move on.
Have you guys had any units successfully go from start to finish of all these tables? Or since it's not really implemented, there hasn't been anybody that's tested it all out?
We can talk to the MPs because supposedly they were prepping in July.
I know that their
And
last drill they shot at the new qual. They tried, but I don't know what happened with it. But I do
don't know.
know.
I haven't spoken with them
Okay.
to
What
find
I
out.
could call.
I would like to know though.
Yeah, Glover.
What about Best Warrior?
She would know.
Yeah.
That,
Did you
well,
guys
they
have
didn't
any
go through the whole
feedback?
thing.
Did not go through those.
They did the qual. They did table 6, but they did not do tables 1, 2, 3,
Okay.
4, and 5.
Best Warrior
prior
was-
to
I think we talked about this before, but
first time we ran the computer program with the new. So
yes,
you're familiar with the old 40 targets that came up. You lay down, you have your magazine stacked out. You listen to the tower, and it's going to tell you, okay, pick your magazine up, get in position, load the magazine, scan your lane, whatever, And you shoot, and like 12 minutes and change later, you're done. And they tell you make it clear, and then get up and get off the line. So there's still 40 targets, which is good. There's still 40 rounds, which is good. You're going to be done in less than 4 minutes. 3 minutes, 6 seconds, something like that. Why? Because not only do you have single targets, you got single targets, and then you have double targets, and you have triple targets, and there's a couple of quads that come up there. So you have 4 targets at one time that require you to shoot them, anywhere from 50 to 300 meters. They're coming fast. Yes, we are training to fight a near peer adversary with large quantities of people coming to shoot us. So the training prior to that is very important because transition is important. All reloads come from your equipment. You can't stack anything up, just lay it up on there. You're changing positions. You're shooting 300 meters in the standing position and the kneeling position. But you're using a barricade for stability, and that's all come back to the earlier tables, part of the training, how to get that good stable position.
And the Army's coming to a much more handoff approach on this.
Yes.
It's all the way down to the fire commands. They do have a very verbatim command set that they'll follow, but it's much more, hey, once you go, there's no stop, reload, change magazines. It's all on you. You'll fire the weapon empty, and at that point, it's on you to change positions and to reload, and then proceed to engage the next target nearest to farthest. And it's kind of putting the onus back on the individual soldier, individual fighter to have a brain. You know, don't choke up and
Wait to be told.
wait to be told, like, hey, you need to be doing this. It's kind of putting that back into muscle memory of, you know, being a shooter first and whatever MOS you are else later. And it's good stuff. It's a good thing.
And no alibis.
And no alibis.
Something breaks, best fix it, because those targets are still coming.
Yeah.
That's right. So
Now, that being said,
failure.
caveat, you have a catastrophic weapons failure or something, the CO has the right, hey, pull him off the line, get his stuff fixed, put him back in again, something like that. But if you just are
You don't know what
slow
to
loading your
do.
magazine, or you're
Yeah.
looking at her, you put the bullets in backwards, hey, that's terrible, and your score will reflect accordingly. So.
Gotcha. Is there any advice that you would give listeners or viewers so that they're not all panicking about these new changes, that to help ease their mind a little bit?
No reason to panic at all. Pretty much every MSC has had at least one, if not multiple, guys go through the. So we've been running courses, not for the individual shooters, for the training NCOs. We've been doing that, what, a year now? I think about a year now.
Yep.
Their training NCOs have been through, they've been exposed over a 2-day course about what's coming. In addition to that, each MSC has been given a, kind of put together, we'll call it a Sergeant Smart Book, and it's got tabs for all the different tables, and you flip it open, and if you can read and follow along, you can teach all the way up. So 1, 2, and 3 are non-live fire events. And 1 and 3 you can do anywhere, drill hall floor, sergeant's time, in a classroom somewhere, just sign out a weapon, and you can do those things. 2 takes the EST, or SSVT, which we don't have access to yet,
Or dry fire.
or dry fire, which I'm a big fan of. But
You also
most
got laser
people hate.
shot.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Sergeant Lawrence. And Sergeant Lawrence is
But it is
excited
now
about it.
at the Battle Simulation Center if you would like to sign it out.
in Rifmus.
Yes, that is true. It's in
Yeah.
reference now.
Christmas.
4, 5, and 6 are live fire events, and obviously you have to schedule range time and secure ammunition for those things. But your basics are going to be learned at 1, 2, and 3. So it's they really shouldn't freak out, but you do have to do the training. You have to study the basics, and that's really the whole point of this whole conversation, and everything the Army did was we have to do the basics, and we have to do the basics well. And if you skip them, you have qualification rates like we're currently seeing. And we would like them to be better.
Basically, is
She was waiting on you.
I know. I could see that he wanted to say something.
is to get the unit prepared and ready, and not let people that's not prepared and can't qualify and can't shoot, not necessarily can't shoot, but they're not going to let you shoot unless you do these things. And the confirm at distance is the thing that if you can confirm at distance, there is no reason why you can't qual. If you can hit the 300-meter target 4 out of 5 times, if you can hit the 200-meter target 4 out of 5 times, and if you can hit the 100-meter target 4 out of 5 times, you're going to qual.
And he's
Hands down.
so we've kicked the term, the phrase confirm at distance around a lot. And if some of the people listening haven't, so we normally, old way, you shoot at 25 meters. You shoot at 25 meters, and the target reflects what a 300-meter silhouette would look like in size. And since the arc of the round, the travel of the round intersects pretty closely at 25 and 300 in the little arc, it's just an easier way to do it. That's why we do it at 25 meters, because we don't want to walk the extra 275 just to go look at our target. But that's an approximation. It's pretty close. Usually it's pretty close, especially if you shoot a tight group. But it's not really real. It's not a 300-meter. It's a 25-meter zero. So confirm at distance means you actually have to go and shoot at a target 300 meters away, 100, 200, 300, which is why we're saying it's going to take extra time, because obviously you can't shoot 300 meters on a 25-meter zero. So you have to go somewhere you can. But if you're shooting confirm at distance, which has different programs, right? They're popping up, you hit it, and it falls down, yay, you got him. But if you're doing that, you can't have people qualifying at the same time. So confirm at distance means you actually have to shoot the stated distance, which is a very good idea. It's just a little bit difficult in execution because of the limits, the bottlenecks we have of ranges. So,
Gotcha.
there we go.
Well, that was definitely a lot of information in a short amount of time.
There's so much more.
I know.
It's longer than what you wanted to go for. I'm just saying.
But that's the thing is we're going to have more videos with you guys. We're going to have you come back and explain more. So this is kind of just to break the ice and get the information out there. And then we'll have you guys come back and do some other cool, fun stuff.
I was going to see if Sergeant Pritchett would kind of walk you through the new target there for about 45 minutes or so.
I was thinking about it.
We'll definitely save that for another day.
That's his whole other program right there.
Yes, but I do appreciate all of you guys stopping by and talking with me about this so we can get the information out for all the service members that are going to be partaking in this at some point with their units. But if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we will catch you in the next episode.